Okay, this video again continues our look at the back and forth between the federal and state governments throughout American history in terms of like who's really exercising more power than the other. 1910 to 1963 is the next time period that we're going to sort of look at in American history. This is what era we call cooperative federalism, or sometimes we call marble cake federalism. So the last video we looked at was like an era of like states' rights, and we called it like layer cake federalism because when you cut the cake open, it's clear like what's a national government power and what's a state power. This is called marble cake federalism this time period because everything is jumbled up again. Because this is now going back in the opposite direction, where the national government is becoming much more assertive and they're beginning to take over responsibilities that used to be left up to the states. So now it's harder because it's all blended together to see what is a national government power and what's like a state responsibility. So generally, right, this is an era in which the national government is getting involved in state matters because either the matters are too big for the states to deal with, like for example, the Great Depression and the World Wars that were going on during this time period. These are things that the states can't deal with on their own. They need help from the national government, or something that the states are unwilling to deal with, like, for example, extend basic civil rights and freedoms and stop discrimination towards African Americans. So, in the case of the Great Depression and the World Wars, the states were incapable of dealing with those issues, so the national government had to get involved. In the case of civil rights, the states were not willing to get to do these things, so the national government got involved. And then there are examples of amendments during this time period that greatly increase the power of the national government. For example, or take power away from the states. The 16th Amendment allows the government, the national government, to directly collect an income tax from the citizens. Up until this point, the national government could tax, but it was almost really kind of giving a tax bill to each state based on their population. Remember, we talked about that in the first unit of the year. Now, this allows them to go right to the citizens and directly tax the citizens, bypassing the states completely. The 17th Amendment, right, ratified in the same year, allows the citizens to vote directly for their senators. So this is a change. If you think about our two houses of Congress, the House of Representatives has always been directly elected by the citizens, right? But the Senate was not. The senators, two from each state, were originally appointed by the states, right? Like no citizen was electing the senators. They were appointed. The states had a lot of power. State officials were appointing those senators. The 17th Amendment takes that power away from the states and gives it to the people. So the 16th Amendment gives the national government an additional power. The 17th Amendment takes power away from the states and allows the citizens to directly elect now both houses of Congress, the House of Reps, like they always have been, and now also the Senate.